Good afternoon, everyone. Perhaps in hindsight, December wasn't a great time to move to Vermillion with 3 young kids in the car, 2 dogs, and an 18-hour drive. It was an experience, but it was worth it. So I would just like to say good afternoon and thank you all for the opportunity to speak to you today. I hope I can provide you with some useful information, and I'd encourage you all to stop by the library if you haven't been recently, or if you haven't got a library card. If you're a Vermillion or Clay County resident, come on down and get signed up. We'd love to get you there. But to start with, I thought I'd just share with you some basic information. Our library mission statement, to serve as a welcoming community center for staff and resources, programs and services, enrich lives, and provide for the educational and informational needs of our diverse community. Values, our goal is to serve all community members. We want to enhance the quality of life, inspire, inform, and entertain, and help our community live, learn, and grow. And I think our vision statement really sums that up very well. The much shorter version, expanding minds, empowering people, and enriching community. However, as John kind of touched on, I'm especially excited to be talking this week because it is the annual National Library Week, so from the 23rd to the 29th. And during this week, the American Library Association has designated some specific days and events, but what is National Library Week? An annual celebration highlighting the value and role of libraries in their communities, librarians, workers, and how we help transform lives and strengthen our communities. Monday the 24th was Right to Read Day, a day all about protecting, defending, and celebrating people's right to read. I think particularly relevant in recent times. Tuesday was National Library Workers Day, a chance to recognize the valuable contributions of all our library workers in our communities. Wednesday today is National Library Outreach Day. And while we're on the topic, if you do know of a community member who may be homebound, disabled, have trouble getting to the library, I'd encourage you to reach out to our adult services specialists because there's a good chance we'll be able to deliver them some materials. They make regular stops at the care center, the assisted living facility, town square. So if that's something that may be useful for a family member, please reach out to us. Thursday is Take Action for Libraries Day, a day to encourage and advocate for support for your libraries. But our library this week, we were fortunate enough that on Monday, City Council representative last Monday on the 17th read the National Library Week proclamation. On Monday, we had author Mary Winters from Sioux Falls come down to talk about her new novel, Murder in Postscript, talking about Victorian agony columns in England, which was an interesting presentation. If you've lost your library card, don't know where you've put it, haven't used it in a while, we'll waive that $1 fee this week and give you a new one. So now's the perfect time to stop by if you haven't been for a while and get your new library card. We've got some word searches and coloring pages, and if you're in the library, feel free to stop by the circulation desk and spin to win a small prize. I know you're all excited. So the theme this year for the 2023 National Library Week, there's more to the story. And as you all know, libraries are full of a variety of materials, books, picture books, audio books, puzzles, games, but there is so much more to the story. As I kind of mentioned, libraries deliver deliveries for homebound and disabled community members. We have programming all month long for a variety of ages, preschool, after school, elementary, teen, adult programming. We have meeting spaces that individuals, groups, and organizations use on a regular basis. Technology, we have 20 public access computers and access to a wireless internet if you want to use your own device. Printing, faxing, scanning, copying, they can all be done at the library. Some other things I thought we'd mention, you may have seen an article or a news story. We have a seed library, we check out hotspots and toy kits and much more. If you haven't been in the library for a while, I'd encourage you to stop by and see all the different things we've got going on. Of all the things going on in National Library Week, I would like to take a moment just to focus on the Right to Read Day, which I think is a particularly important theme this year. The Right to Read Day is all about fighting back against censorship and protecting and defending and celebrating your rights to read. About a year ago, the Unite Against Book Bans campaign was launched, which was an initiative to empower readers everywhere to kind of stand together and fight against censorship. They do have a website, and there is a link there, but you can easily find it in Google. I think that's a particularly important theme with some of what we've seen in the news lately. But also as part of that day, if you're interested, the American Library Association, as part of their annual State of American Library reports, also puts out the list of the top 10 most challenged books of the previous year. I did list them all out here, and it is kind of small, but if you are interested on some more information about those books, the authors, and the number of challenges they saw, the American Library Association has some great information on their website. Why is the right to read so important? The topic of censorship and banning has been very much in the news and of high interest in recent years. It's also evolved recently into a number of proposed bills and some legislation at the state level that have made varying degrees of progress. In recent years, the American Library Association has definitely seen a steadily growing trend in record-breaking numbers of book challenges and requests to ban books. And something to also remember, although these numbers are helpful, this is just based on those challenges that were reported to the Library Association. There are many more that are going on now or ongoing across the country that are not actively reported to them. As you can kind of see here, ALA documented 1,269 demands to censor library books in 2022. And that was above and beyond 2021, which was also a record-breaking year. Kind of diving into it a little more, how many titles were being challenged and where? The American Library Association data says that 2,571 unique titles were targeted for censorship, a 32% increase over that record 2021 year. I think school libraries and classrooms are bearing the brunt of a lot of these challenges right now, with about 58% of them. But 41% of those challenges were also related to public libraries. And, why are the numbers so high? In looking at this, most libraries have policies or procedures in place, a way for a concerned community member to request a reconsideration of a book that's in a library's collection. Is it out of date? Is it inaccurate? Is it erroneous? Is there something maliciously wrong about it? For the good of all our community members, libraries tend to actively resist efforts to remove or ban books, but there are processes in place to investigate any concerns or claims that come up. What is concerning in recent years is the way these challenges are changing. And there's a quote here from the American Library Association's Office of Intellectual Freedom that talks about how with the record number of book bans, we're not seeing cases of individual parents filing what we consider authentic requests, that a book they've checked out and they've discovered something in it that's particularly concerning. Overwhelmingly, a lot of these requests are coming from groups and individuals at public meetings who are submitting long lists of multiple books now, and just sourced from organized censorship groups who are looking to get books on a particular theme, topic, subject, talk about a particular group or idea, completely removed, banned, or restricted in libraries. And you can kind of see here, 90% of the overall books challenged were part of attempts to censor multiple lists, and 40% of them were lists of over 100 books. Often these can sometimes be seen as ways of circumventing those policies and procedures that most libraries already have in place to review those materials, and just provide huge lists of books that they just want to be off the shelf and not available to anyone. I think here are a couple of interesting quotes from the Unite Against Book Bans campaign that are worth just highlighting. There are many more on the website. One from the American Society of Journalists and Authors. Our democracy is built on access to books and learning from a wide range of writers and perspectives. Banning books from libraries imperils our freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and freedom to read award-winning writing. ASJ stands against attacks on our democracy, stands up for writers, readers, and the right to read what you want. You'll see the next one from the Author Guilds, talks about the danger of suppressing reading material, how anti-democratic that is, and how harmful and dangerous a step it can be towards autocracy. And teachers talk about the challenge when books are banned or removed from classrooms in providing a well-rounded education for their students that all students deserve. So I think it's a particularly important topic to have in mind, and I would just encourage everyone, when you see those stories in the newspaper, especially ones from around here, Sioux Falls and our area, don't hesitate to contact your legislators, council members, commissioners, where those local challenges often come up, and let them know how important it is for people to have the freedom to read and access to information. But, moving on more specifically to our library, just a quick summary here. Our physical collection here at the Vermillion Public Library has around 54,000 items, 3,600 DVDs, 2,700 audiobooks, and about 109 magazine subscriptions. So that's about 60,000 items we have available in our public library here that you can come in and check out on your library card on a whole variety of topics and formats. Stuff for adults and children's and teens, books, magazines, newspapers, movies, documentaries. We have large print material for those with a visual disability, graphic novels, a great resource for encouraging those reluctant readers to get started, board books for the youngest kids, CDs, DVDs, playaways, little MP3 players you can check out and just plug a pair of headphones in if you don't have a CD player or some other form of listening. We cover the whole array, fiction, non-fiction, biography reference, we've got it all. Increasingly, digital collections are coming popular, and I know at times in the past there are a lot of concerns that came up. A library's going to die or go away, as we see these services like Amazon's Kindle and others. Are they going to overtake libraries and make them irrelevant? And I would say absolutely not. And in fact, if anything, I'd say they complement the services we provide. For many users, digital and materials and physical are not mutually exclusive. Some people get a lot of use out of both. Having a physical book in your hand when you're sitting home at reading in the evening can be great. On other times, when you're traveling and you don't want to carry a bunch of books with you in your bag, having an app on your phone you can listen to or read a book on is just much more convenient and saves a lot of weight. You're at work on your lunch break, you've got the Overdrive app on your phone, you can pull up a book and check it out and read it right there. So in a lot of ways, these resources complement each other. In addition to all those physical items we talked about, a library provides access to almost 75,000 ebooks that can be checked out. And in addition to that, around 14,000 audiobooks. If you're traveling, working in the yard, cleaning, and you want to listen to something, you can download them right onto a phone, tablet, or computer and listen to them in the background. On top of this, we have digital magazines, comics, graphic novels, primarily available through that Libby Overdrive app I keep mentioning. And if you've never used it or are a little intimidated or nervous, please stop by the library. We'll help you get that app downloaded and give you a demonstration of how to use it. On top of that, we have another variety of on-demand electronic resources that you can log in and use with your library card. Creative Bug offers a variety of online craft workshops, techniques, painting, crocheting, specific projects, or how to learn to do something you haven't done before. We have a digital archives that we were fortunate enough, the Library Foundation helped us digitize our local newspaper. If you're looking to do some research into the Plain Talk, the Dakota Republican, or the handful of other historic local newspapers, you can pull them up right now digitally, search through them with OCR text. You can download a PDF. You can email it to yourself, share it on social media. It's far more accessible than the old microfilm machines. And although there is a certain nostalgia in using them, those who may remember from the past, spending hours in front of a microfilm machine can get old. So this is a great resource for our community. We have Freegal Music. You can stream an unlimited amount of music and get free weekly downloads. If you're not a regular user of some of the other services such as Netflix or Amazon Prime, with your library card you can download the Canopy app and stream some movies and documentaries directly from there. They have some great resources that are well worth checking out. And Universal Class, if you're interested in continuing your education, have some lifelong learning goals, want to brush up your skills or learn something new, they offer some online classes. On top of all this, the State Library offers around 50 other electronic databases that are available to all South Dakota residents with some of the federal funds they get. For our library, if you're interested, right now we have about 4,045 active library cards. A lot of adults, 771 children, and about 400 USD students. One thing I would note is this number can be quite deceiving in the way that you may need a library card to come into a library, check something out, and take it from the building. But there are countless more community members who come in, participate in programs or after-school activities, stop by, read the newspaper, use a book in the library, come in, use our meeting rooms, take part in a program, or learn about something. And you don't even have to have a library card to do any of those things. You can just come in and join in. So, you know, the number is probably substantially higher than that. To give you an idea of how much goes on at the library, here are some highlights we pulled from our 2022 annual report, and we were excited to see how quickly our numbers are going back up as we emerge from some of the pandemic restrictions of the previous years. In 2022, we had 59,000 library visits, up 50% from that 2021 year. Circulation of physical library materials up 20%, with over 74,000 items checked out. Electronic materials such as the ebooks and downloadable audiobooks I talked about, up 16%, and overall an 18% increase, totaling around 100,000 resources used at the library in 2022. And that's across the board. We were pleased to see increases, both adult material, children's material, young adults was all up to varying amounts last year. We offered over 8,500 in-house public computer sessions and almost 20,500 wireless sessions for patrons who came in using their own devices. And our meeting rooms were used almost 1,800 times in 2022 in terms of reservations. Here's a real quick summary of the programming that took place in the library in 2022. And you know, as you can see, a lot of it is youth programming, but we offer something for all ages. With 514 programs in total in 2022, with almost 8,000 participants. We're excited to see so many people participating in all the things we had to offer. Right now, we're coming to the end of our spring 2023 activities. This is actually the last week of our spring programming, but just to give you a little bit of an idea what we had going on, and it'll be something similar when the fall starts again. For preschool programs, we have a Little Learners, a Family Story Time, and an Exploration Stations group that goes on Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays in the mornings. They're great if you've got kids or grandkids looking for something to do, get them engaged in reading young, looking for some hand-on activities. I'd encourage you to check them out. We have after-school programming starting at 3:45, Maker Mondays, some game time on Tuesdays, Lego Club, teen activities on Thursdays, and a more casual cartoon and color on Fridays. In the way of adult programming, we have a monthly take-home craft activity, a monthly lunch and learn presentation, book chatter on the second Wednesdays of the month, and a lot of other one-time presentations such as authors and other community members visiting to share information. The next big thing that's coming up that I kind of like to remind everyone about and share is the summer is here, although it doesn't seem like winter's been that long over, but our annual summer reading program is going to be coming up. The theme this year will be All Together Now. and that'll run from June 5th through July 28th, so that'll be the 8 weeks in the summer. Registration will be opening on May 15th, and there will be activities for all ages, so I'd encourage you to sign up. If you haven't done so in the past, please check it out. This will be our big focus in May of what we'll be getting ready for. We'll have weekly children's performers on the Mondays at 2 p.m. There will be ability to track reading minutes and prizes, book bingo sheets. It's a great resource if you have kids to prevent the summer slide and keep their minds engaged and active during the summer. So look out for that May 15th date, and around about that week in May 24th, I believe it is, we'll be having like a registration day. So if you need any help registering, finding out what's going on, picking up a calendar, I'd encourage you to stop by the library, but you can always do that at any time, but we'd happily help you with that. So we're excited to see what's going on. I also thought I would just quickly mention that we're thrilled. We have such a supportive community. I think if you look on our Facebook page and other locations and the comments we get, I greatly appreciate how supportive our community is, and I'm overwhelmed sometimes by how much support our library gets. But I did want to just quickly highlight a couple of other key groups that help support the library. Vermillion Public Library Foundation every year sponsors a number of projects. In addition to all the wonderful funding we get from the City of Vermillion and the City Council members approve from us, the foundation adds some extra projects on top of that, recently completing some new shelving, carpet tiles, a technology cabinet. They purchased the permanent story walk posts that will be going up in Prentice Park this spring and summer, which will be exciting to see up as part of the Prentice Centennial celebration. There's also a Friends of the Public Library group. And if you haven't been before, I'd encourage you to check it out. Every month, usually with the exception of July and August, they hold a monthly used book sale. And the money they raise from that goes right back into a summer reading program and other programming activities that happen at the library for supplies, presenters, materials, activities. The monthly used book sale, right now it's usually the second Friday, Saturday of the month, 10 to 4 p.m. They have some great materials. We are very fortunate that we get to have the community we do with the university here and a lot of avid readers. We get so much material donated for us, way more than we could ever have it in our collection. And we're fortunate that the friends help us to redistribute that material for a small fee. Many of those books are just $1, $2, $3 at a time. They have stuff for all ages. So if you're looking for something quick to read, some material, whether it's bestsellers, local history, or something unique, I'd encourage you to stop by and check out the Friends of the Library book sale once a month. If you are interested in keeping up with what's going on at the library, our library website is the best resource there, vermillionpubliclibrary.org. If you're on the website, we have the programming calendar there, and you can kind of see the whole month at a glance to see what's going on. Our Facebook page is another great resource. We post all our programs and activities there, as well as a weekly summary usually about what's going to be going on this week. We also have a monthly newsletter that you can sign up for online or pick up a paper copy in person that'll tell you a little more about what's going on this month, but also has a calendar on the back. So, you know, just as part of this National Library Week, I'd just like to say how much we appreciate all our community's support and encourage you to keep supporting our community's freedom to read, to use the library, and participate in all the fun and exciting activities we have going on. I won't read over all of these, but these were just a couple of quotes from the last couple of years American Library Association State of American Libraries report. But if anyone does have any questions or comments or thoughts, I'd be happy to answer them now, or you're always welcome to email me, give me a call, stop by the library. I'm always available. Yeah?
Dan, thank you very much for talking about the banned books.
Yeah.
And I have a true confession. So you were the first group to ever know this about me. But when I looked it up, I was probably 12 or 13. Peyton Place came out. And that was, and I don't know whether there was a banned book list at the time, but it was a book that nobody was supposed to read because it was so awful. So after school, every day, I would go over to the library, and I knew, of course, I figured out where it was, and I would read X number of pages, and then I would put it someplace back out of where it was supposed to be in the library. Only I would know where it was. So the next day I would go to the library and I would find it, and I did this until I finished the book. And I guess I turned out all right reading Peyton Place. So thanks for listing all of that. It's amazing what somebody is bad.
Yeah, well, good. I appreciate your honesty. And, you know, isn't that so true? Often in all our attempts to censorship and limit access to materials, it often just ends up generating more interest in other ways for that material to be distributed. Yeah, Kevin.
And I wanted to say, you mentioned coming out of COVID. During COVID, the library sure stepped up. I could call or email and find a book, put it on the table for me, and check it out for me, and it was just really, really awesome service. So thank you to you and your staff for doing that.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah, there was a tricky time for all of us, but I really appreciate how our library staff kind of found new and innovative ways to keep serving our community members when either they couldn't come in the building or felt uncomfortable coming in the building. Thank you for bringing that up, Kevin. Yeah.
I have a question allied with that question. Is your, what used to be called the card catalog, I don't know what you call it now, is that available online?
Yeah, so we will always look books up for you in the library, or if you call, we'll sure help you. We have 3 computers in the library that have the catalog on, and you can search them. But if you go to our library website, the vermillionpubliclibrary.org, the full library catalog is available. It's in one of our, when you hit the top right, you just hit sign in or search, and it will take you to our catalog. You can search for books, authors, DVDs, all our material is in there. You can also, if you have a library card, you can log in with your library card. Your last name, all lowercase, is what will be your password. You'll get in there. You can see what you've got checked out. You can see when it's due. You can renew it. You can place reserves on items. If you want a tour or guide or someone to show you how that works the first time, library staff will be happy to stop by the library, and we can hop on one of our computers and we'll happily walk you through how to do that. Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you also have an interlibrary loan. I was looking for a book that you didn't have, and you looked it up, and it was the Spearfish Library that had the book I wanted, and brought it to Vermillion, and it was great.
Yeah, that South Dakota Share It, the state library provides, is another awesome resource. And kind of on the opposite end to that book banning problem that, you know, it's an inevitable problem with libraries is that you never seem to have enough space, right? There's only so much shelving space and space to have books on those shelves. While we try to target our collection of the community members' interests, the public library's collection is a little more general and a lot of recreational material and basic general interest material. But if we don't have something, we do take patrons' requests. You can submit a request online or at the circulation desk. I would say we fill 98% of the specific item requests that patrons ask for if they're interested in. But also, if it's something that's a little harder to get or something that may not be easy to add to the collection, we will happily interlibrary loan that from another library if we can get it. So that is a great resource. Thank you. Rich.
What happens to a banned book? You physically remove it from the library or mark it as a banned book? What actually happens?
Well, in terms of book banning, most book bans are done on the local level. So there are no books removed from our collection at this time. Book bans tend to come forth before school boards, city, depending on how these groups and organizations are organized, often are brought to the attention of a school board, a library board, depending in some states it may be county commissioners, city council members. So most book bans happen on a local level. And that is where it's really important when community members get up to express concerns, that also those public officials hear from the community members on the other side of that story who are appreciative of the books in the collection and their access to them. You know, oftentimes an individual or a small group of people will get up at a public meeting and express their concerns and the fact that they want a book removed. But often, whether it's just the timing, nerves, availability, or the information or knowledge about the meeting, there's no one there to speak on the other side of it. And that's where I kind of mentioned it is really important when topics like this come up, or you see them on city council agendas, county commissioners' agendas, library board meetings, school board meetings, to go to those meetings and make your feelings clear, email your legislators, call your legislators, because it's valuable for them to hear both sides of the story. If you check on the American Library Association Office of Intellectual Freedom website, they often have information on upcoming state and federal legislation that's of concern and list ways you can contact your legislators and let them know about your concerns and the importance of things like the freedom to read. So, yeah. Yeah?
Since Mary has opened the floodgates of confession, I simply wanted to add to that and say I did much the same thing with Lady Chatterley's lover. 1954. Okay, it's all out in public now. Would you tell us something about Edith Siegrist? I'm not sure not all of us remember her.
Sure. So I unfortunately did not have the opportunity or pleasure of knowing Edith Siegrist. I know some of our foundation and board members did at the Library Foundation, but Edith left us a substantial sum of money that helped us complete the renovation that took place in 2013. She left an endowment to a number of community groups, including the library, gets a portion of that for the next 20 years. I think we're about halfway through that, that pays out an annual allocation that the foundation uses to support those projects. Edith was a librarian and faculty member at the USD Library when they had a library science program for many years. She was a winner of the South Dakota Librarian of the Year Award and a big supporter of our local library. And when the building was renovated, it was named after her. Actually, if you're interested, we do have a pamphlet at the library with her picture and some more detailed information of who she is, because we get asked that question a lot. Thank you. Yeah?
A couple years ago, the county stopped supporting the library. Has that ever been changed?
Yes. So there was one year during the talks about the future of the jail and options for the Public Safety Center, when the county was looking at a tight budget. The majority of our funding comes from the city of Vermillion. We are organized as a department of the city, but one of the reasons we make library cards available to all county residents is because the county did annually give us an allocation of about $4,000. It's been in recent years. Last year in 2022, like a number of other groups and organizations, they did not give us that money, but that money was actually restored this year. We were one of maybe only, I think, 2 or 3 groups that funding was restored, so we did get that allocation again in 2023. The commissioners restored that. Yeah?
I was on the library board maybe 25 years ago, and the county used that excuse then. They didn't have enough money. They just don't want to support libraries. It's been that way almost forever in this town. Too bad.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And since he wasn't here, in defense of Jim Peterson, the book I was talking about is 13 Ways to Kill Your Community. It really tells you what not to do. It's an interesting book. I haven't finished reading it yet, but that was the table